Hello Tennis World, and thanks for stopping by. Apologies for the noise here, but I'm going to try and record this as I wander around the US Open. It's the only time I'm really going to get a chance to do this. Obviously, I've just witnessed the first match of the day here in New York. It's good to know that the pizzas are to the right, pizzas to the right, cookies to the left, stuck in the middle with... Okay, anyway, I'll stop that. So, yeah, I'm here to review yesterday's action as I try and exit the Arthur Ashe Stadium. It's already taken me about 10 minutes to try and do that. I've got another match to see shortly, so trying to just get out of here, basically. Oh, here we go, some stairs. Okay, so what happened yesterday in day 9, I think it was, quarterfinal action on both the men's and the women's sides. Let's start with, by the way, here are my notes. Yeah, that's how it is, I'm afraid, at the moment. Yeah, so what happened? Okay, yeah, so first up was Czech's notes. Berrettini Rublev. Unfortunately, I was in the air for this match and also kind of traveling to my hotel. So unfortunately, I can't give you a great deal of analysis, but what I'll say is my reaction, because I think that tells a lot, was my reaction once the match finished. Was just, I just put in Casper Ruud, I think, into Google, slightly easier to spell, and I was like, whoa, I was shocked. I had Berrettini to win this match. In fact, I was almost starting to wonder if this might be Berrettini's moment. I'm sure any of the last 8, though, players, once sort of Nadal goes out, obviously Djokovic not being here, Tsitsipas and Medvedev not making it to the latter stages, I'm sure many players felt like that. I'm sure Nick Kyrgios, for example, who also went out yesterday, will be feeling the same, because the draw really did seem to start to open up. And apologies, there's an aeroplane flying above, but that's just how it is at the moment. So, because, you know, aeroplanes don't normally fly above. Anyway, where am I? Let's see if we can exit here. Don't know if they're going to let us out. Okay. Here we go. So, yeah, so my reaction was like, whoa. I was starting to think, yeah, I think I even quietly, or maybe even loudly on Twitter suggested that Berrettini might go on and win now. And the reason I was starting to think that Berrettini might go on and win the tournament, not just yesterday's match, I just was evaluating the nerve of the final 8 players and not really trusting Kyrgios really to do it, you know, in all the big moments, albeit he's had a pretty good year. Also thinking the same about 1 or 2 other players, not really knowing if Khachanov has what it takes. Casper Ruud, I remember as well, being very nervous in that French Open final, albeit up against Rafael Nadal. So I was thinking, you know, maybe this is Berrettini's moment. I know certain people also were thinking this match would go the distance. Not a bit of it. Casper Ruud winning in straight sets, 6-1, 6-4, 7-6. Obviously the final set there being a bit tight. Let me know in the comments section below, or tweet me at TalkingTennisTT to let me know what you thought of that match. I mean, many of you may well have watched it at close hands. I unfortunately wasn't able to, so really can't give you much more than that. But just to say I was surprised, and yeah, I think Berrettini is another one really slipping by. He's got to quarterfinals, semi-finals, and even finals. He's been there or thereabouts. Usually, of course, it's been Djokovic or Nadal who's ended up knocking him out. Not on this occasion, Casper Ruud. And of course, Casper Ruud is very close to becoming world number 1. I think he would have to win the tournament to do so. But no, actually, no, it's not true. If he comes runners-up, if he loses the final, but doesn't lose to Carlos Alcaraz, he's also world number 1. Of course, he's going to be playing Karen Khachanov in the other semi-final. Khachanov winning in 5 sets yesterday. A match I was able to watch before I fell asleep. So, yeah, this is a great review, isn't it, of yesterday's action? I'm sure you're getting a lot from this. But hey, listen, I'll give you a few takes on it. I fell asleep towards the end of the second set. I couldn't stay awake, unfortunately, much longer. The long day had caught up with me. But what I saw until that point was frustration was beginning to build for Kyrgios. He did actually have a break in that second set when I fell asleep, and of course he went on to win that. But what I'd seen before that was, this was incredible serving from both players. I think that first set was pretty much done, or certainly up until the tiebreak, in half an hour. Khachanov serving unbelievably well. So was Kyrgios, as we would expect, I guess. It was kind of a bit boring, actually, at that point. But anyway, also at that point, Kyrgios seemingly needing a bit of treatment for his knee, although I don't think that really did hinder him in the end, and he certainly never mentioned it afterwards. So Khachanov winning there in 5 sets. I will just read that out to you as part of my unbelievable notes. It was 7-5, 4-6, 7-5, 6-7, 6-4, so super tight. Serves obviously seemingly winning the day out there, but Kyrgios, I saw Quality Shot, Faizan speculating, is he ever going to win a major? Maybe not. Maybe this was his year. And I know Kyrgios in his press comments afterwards, in his press conference, was really down, saying like it's all about the majors now, which kind of also makes a mockery of Casper Ruud's potential world #1 status, given that he could actually make it having never won a 500, a 1000 or a Grand Slam. Maybe it's time to reevaluate the point scoring system. Maybe giving Grand Slams another 500 points, 2,500 perhaps might not be a bad idea. Anyway, that's another story. But back to Kyrgios, yes. So he said afterwards, I'm just going to do a little U-turn here because I don't want to exit the whole place. Here we go, nice little U-turn. So his comments afterwards were basically, it's another 4 months till Australia, 4 or 5 months till the next major. That's what it's all about these days. And it just feels like a long way away, and he was extremely down. And I think, as I said to you before, I think players like him and Berrettini must be looking at this going, this could be the one, because seeing all the some of the shocks and surprises, certainly regarding Tsitsipas and Nadal going out, Djokovic not being here. Djokovic will be back probably in January, assuming he can get into the country. Really, 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 he's just, so disappointed with himself. And also a winnable quarterfinal. I mean, I would put him the favourite. I would say Kyrgios beat Khachanov, of course, in Australia in a similar match a couple of years ago. But this is a better Nick Kyrgios in terms of consistency and performance. So just a very disappointing result for him. Hats off, though, to Khachanov. Really, really nice guy. Something that sort of struck me, though, at the beginning was that he got booed as he went onto court. Not loudly, but there was a couple of boos. Seemed a bit odd. Maybe they were from Kyrgios fans, I don't know. But it was a very bizarre way to greet Khachanov. I don't think he's upset anyone on the tour. He's just a super nice guy. To be fair, in his on-court interview afterwards, they seemed to sort of turn, and he, the crowd was sort of very appreciative of him, and he thanked them for that. So that was cool, and that was nice. Okay, let's... in... Day 9 review, shock. I'm now going to review a couple of matches that I really did manage to pay much closer attention to. And that was let's start with Jabeur against Tomljanovic, which of course followed the Rublev match. Yeah, no problem. I'm just going to move out the way so I see some players can come through. Juniors, it looks like. Fair enough. Get out the way, sir. I like the way everything, of course, ends with sir. Even when it's quite forceful preceding that. Get out the way, sir. Anyway, fair enough. So, yeah, a couple of juniors off to go and play their match, which is very exciting for them. Yeah, anyway, exciting for you guys. I'm actually about to review a couple of matches I did pay close attention to. Yeah, so first of all was on Jabeur beating Tomljanovic yesterday. Very impressive straight sets victory. What can I say? The second set was they were exchanging breaks quite a few times. At one point I thought maybe Jabeur might end up losing that second set, and who knows how that third set would have panned out. But I would say really, with that exception, she was largely in control. And hats off to Ons, by the way, because I think she's exceeded mine and many people's expectations at this tournament. I thought she peaked. I thought that the Wimbledon final was her peak for the year, not in terms of her career. And I didn't really see her making this hard court major final, or perhaps even the next one coming up in Australia, and thought that she may have to wait for the clay court season to really get going again. But how wrong I was. She's now in a semi-final where she'll be playing against Caroline Garcia. Caroline Garcia, who dispatched of Coco Gauff in straight sets, did a live watch along for this match. Quite a few things to say. First of all, what do you think? Did Coco Gauff turn up? Was Coco Gauff slightly underwhelming, or was she maybe even beset with a few nerves? But I do think really we need to give our hats off to Caroline Garcia, who is the form player right now, just playing phenomenally well. That forehand, of course, she's stepping in on it so often, especially on the return of serve where she's like a meter inside the baseline, just ready to attack. It must be pretty menacing when you're about to serve to see that from Gauff's point of view. And I think Gauff maybe her serve wasn't quite at 100% yesterday. There weren't so many double faults, although crucially she got broken at the beginning of the first set. In fact, really, she goes love 2 down with a double fault at the beginning of the match. And that was it, really. You know, she never quite got it back from that moment onwards. She was always trailing in that first set. She goes a double breakdown. She gets it back, though, to just the 1 break of serve. And really, though, if she doesn't lose that serve at the beginning of the match, who knows? If, but still. She goes love 2 down. It then becomes 4 love, or love 4, depending on which way you look at it. And you do have to wonder if that was just too much to get it back. She does get a break back. She threatened to get it back on serve as well. Couldn't quite manage it, which of course for her was a bit disappointing. And her fans, and maybe the pressure starting to build on Coco Gauff maybe got to her. But like I say, Garcia was just phenomenal on the return of serve in particular, which was just the forehand return was just really, really difficult. Gauff did double fault a few too many times, and as I said to you, she double faulted to lose her serve at the beginning of the match, and never really quite got into the match fully. Second set begins, and she's threatening again. I think she loses her serve quite early on there, but she's really constantly threatening to get back into the match. But it was always the case of threatening to. A couple of times, maybe went a bit long. I think a few unforced errors on both the forehand and the backhand from Coco. So that'll be disappointing for her that maybe she didn't quite show up. But once again, Caroline Garcia in the form of her life, and probably now the favourite at least to get to the final before playing on Jabeur. Okay, so today we've got a few more matches to come. We've got Sinner against Alcaraz this evening. I went for Sinner at the beginning of the tournament, mainly on their recent record, but I think in this tournament, I do think Carlos has been slightly more impressive and maybe make him the slight favourite right now. I think Carlos is playing slightly better. I think his 5-set win over Cilic looks a bit better than a 5-set win against Ivashka, which is what Sinner had. So I would make him the slight favourite there. Swiatek against Pegula, 50-50. But I do think Swiatek's ceiling is slightly higher than Pegula's, so maybe I would go for Swiatek there. And also we have TFO coming up against Rublev. Could go either way, but I think Rublev has been quietly good, if that makes sense. I was very impressed with the way actually he won that 5-set thriller against Shapovalov. His result against Cam Norrie in straight sets also stands out. So maybe Rublev will just have too much for TFO, who may be having some issues to come back after that phenomenal win against Nadal in the previous round. Let's see if I'm right. Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever. All the links are below. I hope this brief 20 minutes, if you like, which currently is at around about 14-15 minutes and counting, wasn't too much of a letdown. If it was, oh well, I'll do better next time, John. Anyway, time constraints and all the rest of it, unfortunately, mean a slightly shorter version today. Listen, Tennis World, thanks for stopping by.